Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be relationships and a compelling life. Well, I got 3 emails that I'm going to go through with you today. And what we're going to talk about partly today is the importance of having a compelling life, a complete, happy, whole life that you're proud of, full of great friends, full of great family, full of great social activities, and full of a compelling purpose and mission for your life. Because if you're in that place, you're in the best possible place. It's conducive to creating healthy relationships of all kinds, not just intimate relationships, but friendships, relationships, business relationships, all kinds of different relationships. I mean, think about it. We all love being around happy, fulfilled people. Who doesn't? So we're going to talk about that and the importance of having a life outside of your relationship and how that can affect your relationship negatively. So I got a quote that I wrote on this topic I want to share with you, and then we're going to go through these 3 emails. And the quote says, "All men and women should have a purpose and mission to pursue and believe in, something that is so emotionally compelling to them that living without it feels like a life that is less than what they are capable of living. When you create a great life for yourself full of great friends, a great lifestyle, and a compelling and meaningful mission and purpose, you become a complete, whole, well-rounded, and content person. By being at your best personally and having a complete life, you put yourself in a vibrational state that is most conducive to creating and maintaining great relationships of all kinds. Happy and fulfilled people are the most fun to be around for a reason. If you are not presently happy and fulfilled, then endeavor to do the work necessary to build a life and social circle you would be proud of and who others would want to be a part of." When I was coming up with the idea for what I wanted to discuss today, I was thinking about some of the women I've had relationships over the past, some things I thought were really sexy about them. I remember one of my former girlfriends, she was in the insurance business. And I remember we were chatting one time, I think it was over dinner, or actually with some of our family members. And I remember her saying, someday I want to insure like big things. I want to insure like cruise ships, like big buildings and just big things. Because at the time she was doing mostly homes and cars and auto type of insurance policy, but she had ambition. She had things that she saw herself doing in the future. She saw herself growing beyond what she already was at that present moment in time, and I find that very sexy and very attractive. I remember I was having some drinks with a friend of mine, her and her boyfriend. She and I have been friends almost close to 25 years at this point, and she was reminding me of something that I said many years ago, back when the 2 of us were in the construction industry. And we were sitting out in the dock just shooting the shit, reminiscing about memories and stuff, and she said, she was telling me about a time that her and I went to lunch, and these were like her exact words, and I don't even remember saying this, but I could definitely see myself. And at the time I was full into the construction industry and building. And I said to her, I just want to build like really big things. I want to build really big buildings, shopping malls, big hotels, just really big things. And the way she just went on and was describing, I was like, man, I completely forgot about that. But I've always been the type of person that no matter what I'm doing, I've always thought big. And I mean, even if you're a mother, you're a stay-at-home mom, being a great mother to your kids, that's a really great, compelling, and awesome mission and purpose to have. The key is, if you're a hairdresser, if you just do something that you really love, because all of us have to do something, or I should say most of us have to do something for a living in order to pay the bills. And you have a choice. You have a choice to work at something or work towards something that makes you happy, that's exciting and compelling, or you can go do what most people tend to do, which is be realistic and go work at a job because it pays the bills, or they think they need to be realistic. And because they believe that, and that's the story they tell themselves, they don't even consider the things that they really want to do. That's one of the things I love about what I do. It's like half of my clients, I'm working with, helping them figure out their purpose, their career, turn their business around, or just figure out what they want to do. And it's just in talking to them and discovering what it is they really love and just listening to their story that they tell themselves about why they can't have what they want or why they can't be what they want. I remember I was talking to a client, it was like a week or two ago, I think it was, and he's a very successful guy. He does well, and he had something he was really into. He was really into martial arts, and he'd been doing it for over 12 years. It's one of the things he loves more than anything. And when we were going through things, and I was like, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, how emotionally compelling is this? And he had something that I don't even remember what it was at this point. He told me it was a 6. I was like, why would you want to go do that? And then so he goes through 2 or 3 other things, and then he finally gets to martial arts, which is a 10. And that's something he really loves and he enjoys. He's not doing it for a career or anything like that. And he knows all these people that are in the martial arts industry. And so I was like, what do you love about it? And so he starts telling me all the things that he loves about it. He says the better you get and the more you master certain martial arts disciplines, the more you have an opportunity to travel. In other words, people get to know about you and they invite you to these competitions where you come and display your skills. And so as I'm asking him these questions, like, well, what do you love about it? What is so awesome about martial arts? And traveling was one of the things that he loved. He enjoyed teaching, was something that was exciting to him. I think he ended up having like 7 or 8 things that he really loved about it. And I said to him, I was like, well, why don't you go teach it? And it's like in his mind, it's like, well, I got to work a career. I have to work a job somewhere. And so because of his thought processes, the limiting beliefs that in other words, the limiting story that he had told himself, he never even considered that. And so by the end of the conversation, he's like, I'm asking these questions. He knows all these people. He knows several people that have successful places where they teach martial arts. I was like, make a list. Go talk to these people. Go talk to all the people that you know that are already succeeding, and let's either go work for them or find somebody that they know, or at least a list of contacts. And so it's like by the end of the conversation, he's like, this is awesome. He was all excited about it. And it's like really, it's just part of it is unlocking that and getting all the bullshit out of the way, helping him get past or see past his bullshit story of what's standing in the way of him taking action and moving towards what he really wants to do. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I said, what do you think you're going to work harder at? Being successful teaching martial arts and learning martial arts? Because he says the more you do it, the better you get at it. I said, well, how compelling would it be to do martial arts all the time and to be able to teach? He's like, that's fucking awesome. And he's like, you'd hear it in his voice. It was completely different. He was like a completely different dude than when I first started the phone session with him. That's one of the things I really love about it is like helping people remove all the blocks and things that they get in the way that most of the time they don't even realize it's there. It's just that he had so many things and he was so emotionally anchored to his way of thinking that he couldn't even see teaching martial arts as a possibility for him. But by the end of the phone conversation, it was the only thing that was the most compelling thing to him, and now it's like the wheels are turning. I'm excited to see how things work out for him and which direction he ends up going. So the first email I got is actually a guy just saying thanks and sharing some of how it's helped him. He says, hey Corey, I'm 33 and I've always had success with women, but I've been watching your videos the last 8 months and I'm on the 3rd read of your book. Well, 8 months, only 3 times? Come on, man. You got to step up your game, homie. He says, you teach some great stuff, and my game has even stepped up more than before. I just wanted to send a thank you email, and I'll continue to follow your work. You need to print out a t-shirt that says, keep calm and read my book with your signature on it. Well, you definitely need to read the book more than 3 times, my friend. 8 months, but at least you read it 3 times. I talked to guys that have been following me for 2 years, and they're like, I still haven't read your book yet. And I was like, and you wonder why you struggle. But awesome. Thanks for sharing your success story. So let's get into the second guy's email. And he says, hey Corey, thanks for all the great advice that I get from watching your videos and your book and from responding to my previous message. Now I need your advice one more time. I just recently upgraded my cell phone and there was this beautiful woman who sold it to me. Now there was some playful banter back and forth while she was getting my phone ready and we made some eye contact. One incident, she was making fun of my signature and then started going about how bad hers was. It was terrible, and I made sure she knew it was. And how she had a hard time adjusting her signature, changing it back to what it was originally because she got married and then later divorced. He says, was this a sign that she was single and interested or just being friendly? Well, that's some pretty personal information. In other words, I would take that as a sign because you're flirting, you're teasing, you're just having fun with her. And she's saying, hey, oh, by the way, I'm single again. That's what women do. They help you when they like you. But most women are not going to come right out and ask you for your phone number or ask you out on a date. Some women will. I found the most confident and aggressive women will ask you out on a date. But most of them, 99% of them, this is the kind of thing that they'll do. In other words, she's trying to make it obvious, hey, I'm available, but it's still, they want you to be the man. They want you to be the knight in shining armor. They want you to be the guy that puts his balls in the chopping block and says, you know what, now that my phone's all set up, why don't you go ahead and put your phone number into my list of contacts so we can get together and have dinner sometime. Sure, she pulls out the phone, puts it in there. It's that simple. That's what I would have done if I were you and you were having this kind of great connection and you liked the girl. He says, I wanted to ask her out, but I chickened out. But the good news is, I like what you were doing. You were bantering with her, so you were focused on that interaction. This is how you become better, which is practice. You're just going about your life, enjoying your life, and you encounter an attractive woman as you're going about your life. You're not out picking up girls. You're just living your life. And boom, what happens? You meet this really cute girl that happens to work at the phone store. And so you did really great, except the fact that you happened to chicken out. He says, I really want to go back in there and ask her out, but I feel like I need a reason to go into the store so I don't come across as just going there to ask her out. What would you recommend me doing? Well, go back in there, buy an accessory or something if you need for the phone. Or you can come back in and ask her something about it. And as she's sitting there explaining something, you can go, you know what? I didn't come back in to have you show me how to do this. Actually, the real reason I came in is I walked out, I was thinking, that girl was so pretty, and I really enjoyed chatting with her, and I didn't even get her phone number. And I feel like a jackass for walking out of here and not asking for your phone number. So, what's your phone number? Go ahead and put it in there. I want to have dinner with you sometime. That's the best that you can really do, is something along those lines. The point being is that you show up, be vulnerable, put your balls in the chopping block, and take a risk. What's the worst she can say? No, or, I'm flattered, oh, I can't date clients. Hey, why don't you give me your business card? Or, you know what, why don't you give me your information? Bottom line, if she likes you, if she's really attracted to you, she'll say yes. She'll say, here's my phone number, here's my email address, these are the days that I'm off. The more her attraction level, or the higher it is, the easier she's going to make it for you to take her out. So, but the good news is you did a lot of flirting and bantering with her. That's good practice. And that's what you need to do. You need to realize that it's not really a big deal. Come up for reasons to interact with women and ask them questions. Something I heard recently in a book I was reading, I thought, this is really great. And it's like, I never thought of this. And I've used this before, but I never thought of it in this particular way. It's like you meet a girl and you get to know her name and just say, what's your story? People love to talk about themselves. Our favorite person is ourselves. Hey, what's your story? So for those of you guys that are out there that are in these situations, hey, what's your story? When she tells you about getting married and divorced, say, oh yeah, what's your story? Let her tell you. Let her talk about it. Oh, really? Wow. Oh my God, really? Wow, you did that? Ooh, really? It's really simple to carry on a conversation. Practice it in the elevator. If you meet one of your neighbors, hey, I'm Bob. What's your story? What's your name? Tom? Hey, Tom, it's nice to meet you. What's your story? Well, I've been living there for a year. Oh yeah, what do you do for a living? Oh, whatever it happens to be. People love to go on and on about themselves. We like it. We like other people. We think other people are smart and intelligent when they want to get to know us and they want to know about what we do and what we're all about. It makes us like them more. So let's get into the third and final email. This guy says, hey coach, my fiance and I dated for 5 years, and in March I proposed and she accepted. we began looking at homes and talking about our future together. A couple of weeks ago, so that was March, this is now July, middle of July, I should say. He says, a couple of weeks ago, I noticed she was being distant. Well, that's not a good sign. She gave me the I need space, I'm confused stuff, I don't really know myself stuff. In other words, I'm feeling really smothered. I'm feeling like I'm losing my freedom. And this is where having a complete life and a great life. So if your girl says something like this to you, you say, you know what? You need to go spend some time with your friends. And when you miss me and you can't stand being away anymore, give me a call, baby. Just go have some fun. Give me a call when you miss me. And if you have that flippant attitude, if you're a guy that has a very busy life, a very busy social life, you have a career, a purpose, a mission that you love, and you can tell that your girl is kind of getting a little complacent, she's getting a little too used to you, maybe she's getting a little bored, encourage her to go hang out with her friends and do things outside of you. That way she feels like she's not losing herself and not losing her freedom. This is part of two people having great lives. You know, if she feels like she has not been spending time with her friends, what people typically do, men and women both tend to do, is they blow off all their friends and family when they get into a relationship. And then they stop talking to all those people. And especially in this particular case, if because you didn't really allude to any mistakes or anything that you're doing, but the bottom line is this tells me that her attraction level is dropping. And so if you're really focused on locking her down and getting her married and getting her to the altar, and you're the one bringing that up all the time, and she's not really bringing it up, you got to pay attention to those particular things. When the woman backs off and she feels like she needs space, you feel like she's getting a little bored with you, or you go out on a date and she just seems like she's taking everything for granted, don't reach out to her the next day. Wait to hear from her. Because then after a couple of days, those feelings of feeling like they're losing their freedom or feeling like they're smothered, then they start to think about you. They start to wonder about you. They start to miss you. And then they reach out. And then you make the next date. Sometimes it's just a couple of days apart from one another is all you need. But you gotta, by reading my book, you can learn how to spot those trends, how to spot the body language, how to spot the physiology, how to be able to tell when your girl is starting to get a little too familiar with you. And if you don't have a happy, whole, complete life full of friends and family and other people to spend it with, and your woman is your whole life, then this can happen sometimes, especially now that you're getting married, because she's everything. And night and day, you guys are always together, especially after being together for 5 years. He says, we talked about all our problems, and she said she wants to work on things, but wants to work on herself and be with her friends too. You say, awesome. Go hang out with your friends and give me a call when you miss me. He said, I accepted even though it made no sense and I didn't want to. That's another thing. Reading my book, you'll be able to spot where you're going wrong and maybe any bad habits, needy behavior, things that you're doing that are making yourself look weak. You know, part of just having a busy life, a busy business, a busy career is that you're always out doing things. And when you're not with her, you're busy doing something else. This gives her time to wonder about you and what you're doing. But if you have no social life and you don't really love what you're doing for a living and your only source of fun and entertainment is your girl, things are going to get dull and stale and boring after a while. He says, bad move, I know. I feel like all of the change recently getting engaged and looking to move out from her town for the first time may have freaked her out. He says, and here's where he says, I've also been a weak bitch for a little while due to mild depression. So if you're feeling like you're depressed, obviously I would encourage you to go see a therapist or a psychologist and talk about those things. And the worst thing you could do is try to make your fiance into your mommy or your therapist. Because if you're a downer to be around all the time and you're kind of sad and depressed, this tells me that you're not happy, that you don't really have a great life. You don't have a compelling mission. You don't have a compelling vision. And if you don't have a compelling mission, a compelling vision, you don't have a life that's really exciting and fulfilling, then what this tells me is that you're looking to your fiance to be your source of happiness. And that is going to make any woman and any friend feel smothered and suffocated. And they're going to want to back away from you when you feel this way. So what you really need to do is you need to be focusing on yourself. Go see a therapist, go see a counselor, talk about these things. Maybe book a phone session with me if your career sucks. It's real simple. On a scale of 1 to 10, if what you're doing for a living right now is not a 10, then you need to book a phone session with me and let me help you get past all the bullshit like I was talking about earlier with the guy who's now going into martial arts. Not that you have to go into martial arts. The idea is you got to go into something that's exciting and compelling. Because what this tells me right now is you don't really have a life outside of your fiance. And that's the real reason why she wants to be away from you, plus the fact that you're just simply not happy. Think about it. Is it more fun to be around people who are sad and depressed and negative and pessimistic all the time, or somebody that's happy, successful, in great shape, and has lots of attractive friends and members of the opposite sex around them? I mean, it's pretty common sense. So he says, during this time, a guy at work told her friend that she was hot, and it's been a week with no contact from her. I understand my mistakes, and I want her back, and I need to be the man, but is it too late? What should I do? Well, like I said, the most important thing that you need to focus on is you and taking care of your own life and your own shit. And if you're not happy in your career and you don't know what you want to do, or you think what you want to do is out of the question or something you don't even want to consider, I would go to my website right now, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a paid phone or Skype coaching session with yours truly, and let me help you with that. Let me help you get past these blocks and the things that are getting in the way of you having a happy life. Because the bottom line is, if you don't get this shit under control, eventually her attraction level is going to continue to drop, because you said yourself that you're dealing with mild depression. It's obviously, women will love you and will support you, but they want to see that you're able to get yourself out of this funk. And so that's why your priority needs to not be her. Your priority needs to be you and taking care of you. Because if you take care of you and you get back to a place where you're happy and you're loving your life, guess what? You're going to be a lot more attractive to her. So I wouldn't do anything with her. She's the one that says she needs space. Let her have space. Live your life. Wait to hear from her. When you do hear from her, make a date. Just say, hey, baby, it's great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together? And make the next date. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. That's what I would be focusing on if I were you. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way, go to my website, book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. Whichever option works best for you. You can do that by clicking the products tab at the top of your screen and just following the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.